What's up, everybody? It's your boy C. Sims, and this is That Comic Show. With every YouTube channel, there comes a time when we have to think about evolution. How do you expand the content? How do you expand your market? So we like to think about those things, and we like to put those things into perspective. Here at The Comic Show, we are so thankful for having over 50 subscribers. Yeah, we're moving kind of slow, but it's all right. We're growing, and that's all that really matters. So before we even continue, thank you all for subscribing, for liking, for commenting, for giving us a like, giving us a dislike. We appreciate you 100%. So we started thinking, what other content can we really bring to the universe, or the YouTube-verse? And we thought about evolution, how a character started one way and made his way, or her way, to a new character, same character, but we see a story arc that changes that character into the person they are today. We have a couple of examples from the comic book movie genre. We're not going to take a look at Batman, Spider-Man, or Superman, because those characters have changed multiple times within the last 10 years. We've had about 3 Supermans, we had about 4 Batmans, we had about 3 Spider-Mans. There's a lot going on, so we're not going to look at that evolution. What we are going to look at is the evolution of characters from the genre. And as you can see by my shirt, we're going to be taking a look at Iron Man, Anthony Stark, or in other words, Tony Stark. So, let's get into it, strap your seatbelts on, we're going to take a ride through the evolution of a character. In 2008, Iron Man dropped in the theaters and we had a big explosion of greatness. We see Tony Stark return to the company that he was once outside of because he was too young or he was inexperienced. He came back and he came to run the company. While he's showing the Jericho missile, an attack happens to him while he's out there in Iraq or Afghanistan, one of the two countries. And he gets shrapnel stuck into his chest. By getting the shrapnel stuck into his chest, he had to create a machine to keep the shrapnel from out of his chest. And by using that machine, he made the first Iron Man suit. And we see the character of Iron Man revealed. He stepped out into the spotlight and he pretty much said, "I am Iron Man." Iron Man 2, we see a new Tony Stark. A Tony Stark that has embraced the Iron Man persona. He is now a superhero in the eyes of everybody who believes himself. He believes that it's his job and his responsibility to make sure that nobody takes his weapons and uses it for mass destruction, even though it's the original purpose of his weapons. Iron Man is now a hero to everybody. But there's a problem. Iron Man is dying because of the palladium poisoning that's happening in his body. And because every time he used the Iron Man suit, it kind of get him closer to death. He meets Nick Fury, Black Widow, and he discovers a new element. By doing these things, he has a new bill on health, and he has a little bit more understanding of the sacrifices that one must make to be a hero. I mean, he was almost dying. You see him in Avengers. In Avengers, we see Tony Stark being Tony Stark. He's building more suits. He's becoming more prominent in society. People are starting to see him more as a hero now more than ever. During this time of the invasion, he takes a missile and sends it right up into a wormhole. By going up into that wormhole, he was able to see things that no other man has been able to see. He realized that there are other creatures out there bigger and badder than him. And he has to do more work to try to protect those that he loved. Because of that, he develops PTSD in Iron Man 3. In Iron Man 3, we see the dysfunction of him as a character. He's going crazy, he's building nonstop, he's not sleeping, all because of the fact that he went into space and got his mind blown. Because of all that, nothing that he can really do. He's going crazy. But guess what? During the movie, we also see a development of his character. We see that he's opening his doors to more people. We see that he's opening his heart out. And when everything is said and done, he wasn't even the one who defeated the villain. It was Pepper Potts. And all that stuff humbled him, to the point that he took the arc reactor out of his chest, chucked it into the ocean, and he became a brand new man. Now, Avengers 2. We see the same type of Tony Stark creating Ultron, a system to protect the entire world. So he has not changed his mentality when it comes to protection. He just wants to use other people to do it. Nothing really turns out the way that he wanted it to. As a result, Ultron is created. But now Tony Stark has a problem because he caused something to happen in a place that nobody expected anything to happen. Sokovia. And as a result, Civil War. We see him go head to head with Captain America on ideology. Remember, in Iron Man 1, Iron Man was pretty much a punk kid, doing his own thing, having people punk behind him because he called the shot. Now, he's working hand in hand with the government. You see the evolution of his character? He went from one way to another. We see in Spider-Man, he becomes a surrogate father. Now he's a father figure. He has experience. He's been in the role as Iron Man for about 15 years. As a result, he's trying to help Spider-Man to be a better hero than he did. The mistakes that he made, he doesn't want Spider-Man to make the same mistakes, even though he's enabling Spider-Man to make the same mistakes. He becomes a father figure without him actually being a father. And I guess it's a good way to dismiss Uncle Ben from not being around for Peter. Lastly, we see him in Avengers Infinity War. We see the culmination of his entire story arc. He still has the brash mentality to go out there and fight and to be unexpected, but he also has to sacrifice himself in order for the greater good of everybody else. So he decides to go head to head with Thanos, even though he knows he had no chance. Kind of goes back to what he said on Avengers about Coulson. How Coulson didn't have a chance against Loki, yet still he went after him. Kind of cool that he learned that lesson by seeing that, and he takes that lesson and go up against Thanos, someone he had no idea and no power against. He only had a suit against a demigod, pretty much. He got his butt handed to him, he learned a valuable lesson. And at the end of it, Tony had to experience the one fear that he experienced back in Avengers Age of Ultron. It's pretty sad when you think about all of it. But that's it. We see the evolution of Tony Stark's character between 6 or 7 movies. And now we see the Tony Stark as a result of these character moments. If you want to take a look at that for yourself, take a look at the movies that we already mentioned. Iron Man, Iron Man 2, Avengers, Iron Man 3, Avengers Age of Ultron, Captain America Civil War, and Spider-Man. Lastly, Infinity War. You'll get a good idea of what kind of character Tony Stark really is. Once again, this was the evolution of a character, and this is That Comic Show. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you for joining us. It's your boy Sam's. Sam's out.